Hey guys, Dan God of Thunder here. No, I haven't been doing these for a while. I think I stopped at like the last patch in Season 7. These are honestly something that have been pretty beneficial for myself to do. I started realizing that I wasn't understanding the changes in each patch. So a lot of this is for my own personal notes and just kind of talking about it, reading it, analyzing it. It does help internalize it. So truth be told, a lot of this is for my own personal enjoyment, so if you are not into that, I understand. But I will be going over both the bonus update notes, and I will be going over the 8.5 notes in detail with regards to changes, buffs, nerfs, things like that. So let's get this underway. Don't know who Titan Dandy is, but they're giving you 3 new skins you can buy. I don't know how the fuck you buy them, I don't really care. Spear of Desolation, Mage Itemization, large topic of discussion because every build looks the same. Buffing a set of less often used items in the main update, okay. Spear of Deso is one of the top items. It is really the best answer for flat pen. And they're reducing the cooldown from 8 to 6 when you get a passive trigger. And it triggers on assists and on kills. So it's not a hard proc to get in a team fight. It is a very strong win more item. And I think this is a very good change to reduce that cooldown on the ultimate for Spear of Deso. I mean, I could even see 5 seconds. Any more than that, and you might have to buff the base stats. Otherwise, it would fall out. Anchule, 8.1, a few hybrid items were shifted more towards power and away from defense. Since then, these items have become extremely powerful in both jungle and solo. Stats are too good to turn down. We're decreasing the power on them to level the playing field. Decreasing the physical power from 60 to 50. This is a No, it was 40 power, 50 magical procs. Now it's going to be 50, 35. So it's on paper a net nerf, even compared to 8.1. Along with a 100 gold increase. Anchule is probably out of the meta now. Runic Shield is probably going to take over. I think it's going to still have that same effect, but it's going to be Runic instead. So, we'll see. Shift your shield, it's getting 5 less physical power. So this is going to give you 70 when you're above 3/4 and 30 when you're below 3/4 health. Physical power on the passive, so it's going to go from, I think it's 50 to 45. Oh, no, this is just 10, 5 on 5. I thought this was physical procs, I'm illiterate, sorry. So this is 35 to 65. So that's still one of the highest power items in Smite. 65 power, it's still firmly tied. It's third behind Erendite and Bloodforge. Upgraded Bombas Hammer. No more penetration, so it used to be 10% flat. And reducing the cooldown by 10%. This is still going to be really good on gods that lead in auto attacks with their ability combo, but I think this is fair. This is a fair change for the Bombas Hammer. Gilgamesh, he's going to get some more, I believe he and Tiamet are going to get some more, nerfs in the next patch. But immediately they realize that this guy is way overtuned. Hero's Advance is supposed to be used aggressively, really, and they're going to decrease the physical power scaling, which is fair enough. It still has it has way too much utility, I think. They need to get rid of that, and I think it's just way overstated for what it does. Like, Odin's jump is just, he jumps and boom. Gilgamesh is boom, but bigger area, and allies running towards it get movement speed. And if you fight inside the boom field he creates, you get lifesteal, and it's so many things. So I think it's just uploaded. I think that Gilgamesh's kit overall is fairly bloated. But they are going to tune down the Sunforged Scimitar to 3% of his maximum health per hit. High HP builds are still going to be very good on Gilgamesh. Animosity is still going to be pretty good. Tiamet, decrease the heal of the large heal from 40 plus 8 to 30 plus 6, so that's going to be up to 50. Okay. Not a big change. I don't think that really changes what makes Tiamet so good. Her damage mitigation was not nerfed high res because if you build her full mage, she still gets all of her passive. Piercing Moonlight, Tsukuyomi is getting yet another nerf. Decreased damage mitigation gets when firing the ultimate from 30% to 20%. Okay, I didn't realize he got any damage mitigation, so that's fair enough. And the scaling is 20% less total. Actually, up to 60% less if you get all 12 hits. I think you get up to 12 hits off Piercing Moonlight. Guan Yu ultimate, it's going to be 10 less damage, scaling down to 30 less per hit at level 20. I don't love this change. I think what they should have done is nerf the... I think, because it should have a diminishing returns if you hit one god multiple times. Side note, you can hit back key to hit people more easily because you won't move as fast. And I think that would have been a more beneficial change. So one, you can't just pound away and just like 4 or 5 hit combo a target. But I don't know if I like this as much. This might push Guan Yu back towards the middle of the pack, but, you know, leave to high res. They balance this game with a fucking sledgehammer. Guan Yu has been good for about 4 months now. It's time for him to not be good. Apollo. Audacity stacks are going to be reduced when he hits an enemy god, going down from 2 to 1. Okay. The moves, he's going to get a little bit less movement speed on that. Actually, a lot less at rank 1. And Across the Sky is going to use up way more mana. So the build used to be, or the build was before this, you go with a jungle focus build. Like, you play him in the jungle by going Transcendence early, so you have a giant pool of mana to work with, and you can use it to rotate around team fights, be satellite during, during neutral objectives and all that. I think that's going away with this, so I don't know if he's even going to be really able to compete as a soul in carry. Athena reverted the duration increase from 1.2 to 2 to 1 to 2. That's fine. Decreased magical damage scaling and decrease the base damage. I think this is a fine change for Athena. I don't think this is going to change too much of her kit. On her, 5% less physical power scaling off of the Impale, and 40 less damage at all ranks on Desert Fury. So that's actually a pretty big nerf. But Desert Fury firing 8 spears was actually very devastating. That's 560 damage at level 5 when you've got like 1,000 hit points. That's actually quite a bit. So I get why they did that. Set. I don't know if he's really worth nerfing. I don't know. I think Set gets banned way too often for us to really have a good bead on if he's broken or not still. But he is more vulnerable inside his Sandstorm, and the Skewer is doing 10 less damage at ranks. Okay. I don't know. I think the problem with Set is that he is such a high ceiling character and such a low floor character that people aren't going to do anything with him eventually, unless you're like an absolute expert with the character. So he's only going to be good in a few hands, and then he'll get buffed. So I think he's going to see some buffs before the end of the year, which sounds crazy right now considering his state. Sobek, yep, his Pluck signature ability. Okay, 1 second extra on charge point, not a big deal. And holy shit, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12, I guess we'll call it. 11 skins, because Athena's getting a remodel for no reason. General. Starter items will now appear in the search bar in the item store. Okay, I didn't know that was a thing. In case of early surrender, winning team will now acquire... I'm turning this music down a little. Sorry, and you can see that. Whatever, who cares? Losing team still doesn't gain anything. Winning team doesn't win as much. That's fine. Player that disconnects, lose MMR, and receives Deserter. That's fine. I don't think that's a big deal. It'll feel a little less good because it's like it's not your fault they disconnected. But I think that's reasonable to not reward you the normal amount when you win via DC. Ranked resets are coming, so now all the pros will finally stop complaining, which I think is good. It's going to be a reset to Diamond 1, so they've got to do the grind through Masters and GM. Okay. I'm not Masters. I'll admit that. Let's see. General gameplay. Emoja, properly banned. I didn't know that was a thing. Who gives a shit? They're going to be player-made walls in all cases. Okay. This was important. I mean, like, I get it. Like, I understand the Patroclus was, they were dating, they were banging. Dating's probably a strong word for ancient Greece. They were having sex. But that's fine. Whatever. I don't... Okay. Lore stuff is whatever. Nemesis Retribution, now going to be canceled if hit by Disarm. That's a hard CC, that's fine. Pele, are they going to fix the fucking clipping of the fucking vines and all of their fucking bushes on Spectator? Or do we not get to see that? I guess we don't get to see that. This will now affect the Leader's Cowl. That's good, so Leader's Cowl is a little better by proxy. Wind Demon. Wind Demon is getting 10% less... Okay, off crit, so it's 10% less movement and attack speed. That's fine. I don't think that's a big deal for Wind Demon. I think all the crit items are on such a knife's edge that changing anything of them will throw them out in favor of something else. So you might see a standard Rage, Deathbringer, Poison Star now. Who knows? And Wind Demon might get knocked out. But we'll see. Upgraded Magic Shell. No longer provides block stacks, which I think is probably a good change. Buffed gods take 50% less damage from basic attacks as long as they have the health shield. So I don't think that's... So it's obviously a nerf, but I think it's still going to be the optimal pick into auto attack heavy comps. Shell is to me a standard team fight relic, and I don't think that's going to change anything on that. I think Shell's going to still be an okay place. Alternate Timeline gets 25 magical power because it kinda sucks. We all thought, like, we were thinking it was going to be really good, but it's honestly not. The one change I think could make it kind of interesting is if instead of you respawning where you stood, you go back to your starting point. I don't know if that would change whether it's a good item or not. I don't know if that would make it balanced. I don't know if that would make it overpowered. I really don't know. And I don't have a good feel for it, but I think that would be a more interesting item where if you use it, it's like you died, but you can get back into the fight, potentially. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Archmage's Gem is getting 200 mana. Okay. I actually don't remember what Archmage's Gem does. Oh, no, that was the one that was actually the really good option off Conduit Gem, I think. Yeah. Gem of Focus is the balanced one where it gives you some defense and tank as well. So that's actually a really good, underrated solo lane item. If you can get away with having a Conduit Gem to start, but, you can also just weave in that Conduit Gem later on, because you don't have to, there's no stacks you have to build or anything. Bump to its power, 10 power on the Gem of Focus. I think that's fair. Bombas Spear. Bombas Spear is always it has to compete with the strongest starter. Yes. It needs some extra kick to make it feel worthwhile. Also agree. CDR and mana will make it more attractive. I agree on CDR, don't agree on mana. Passive now provides a 10% power buff for 10 seconds. Oh, that's a lot of power. I think that might be too much. I think that might be better as like a 20 physical power, 40 magical power buff. I don't know if I like this as much. 10% on a high damage assassin is quite a bit of power. I probably would have just put it at a lower number and seen where it gone. Seen where it would have gone from there. I can speak English good. Mannequin Hidden Blade. 15% was not enough on it. It always felt like it was really strong, but I would never use it well. That was my concern with using the Hidden Blade. or no more basic attack power, but it's 60 power, 90 magical. I don't like that, because the Mannequin Mace is a basic attack power buffer. So you're switching away from that. I don't know if I like that. But 5% more bonus damage, fine. Seer of the Jungle. Okay, I think Protector of the Jungle is where everyone went with the bonus power in the camps. We also have Seer of the Jungle to discuss. Becoming a Ward Destroyer where something is high value. Nope. Increase of attack speed, increased duration of buffs, visibility. I think that'll be fine. I didn't really see too much Seer of the Jungle. Okay, now we're getting into the more of the area that I know, the solo lane, Warrior's Axe. It's going to be 30 health steal every 8 seconds rather than 25 every 10. That's actually pretty strong. 30 divided by 8, that is 3.75. So that's like getting... times 5. That's like 18.75 HP 5 on an item if you use this optimally. That's a lot. You don't get the defense on Bluestone, but you do get a little more HP 5. And of course the MP 5 on that and damage, but you don't get the tank on it. I think that's quite powerful. We'll see. Who knows? But I think this is a very strong buff, and I think this puts Warrior's Axe in line as a solo lane starter again. Warding Sigil, on the other hand, I think really should be sharpened more towards protecting, instead of protecting against dot damage, which I think is kind of boring, and a lot of people don't know how to counterplay that. This should really, maybe instead of 10 to 15, they should have put the magical procs up from 15 to 20. So it felt impactful, because when you have less physical procs early game, minions can actually do some damage in the early game to you. So I think you needed more accentuate the positives rather than making it a jack of all trades. So I think they should have accentuated to 20 or so physical magical procs instead of that. Benevolence, it's only one nearby ally getting bonus golden experience. I think that's fair and reasonable. Compassion is now going to get 8 gold per 5. I don't know if Animosity is, but I don't think Animosity needs it. That's fine. Sentinel's Boon. Yeah, no one was fucking buying this one. It's going to provide supports 24% of their health and mana back each wave, which can enable a siege or defense. I think this should give something to the team, and I think that might make it more viable. Maybe like 1% back per wave. That might be too much. 0.5% of theirs per wave might make it interesting. But I don't think this is enough to really make or break Sentinel's Boon. But I might be wrong. Charon's Coin, I don't think I'm wrong on this one. Problem with Charon's Coin is that this is a win more item. In games where you're losing and getting your ass kicked and falling behind, you're not going to get the stacks you need to make this item worth it. And without getting the stacks, Charon's Coin kind of sucks. It still sucks at 2400, and it still sucks with 90 power compared to your other options. Charon's Coin is not an item that really helps you win. It's an item that helps you win games you are already going to a bit harder. Book of Thoth. Cuckoo Khan is getting some buffs as well. I wonder if this is going to be a Cuckoo heavy meta. Mana contribution is going to increase by 1%, increase the MP 5. Yeah, I mean, no one was really going into Book of Thoth rush outside of Cuckoo Khan. So I get it. Spear the Magus, for some reason, is getting lifesteal on it. I don't know why. I think they should have just reduced the cost on it or given it like 10 more magical power. Probably reduce the price. I would have reduced the price. Because Spear the Magus could also flex into it can flex into DPS for flat pen. But the other thing with Spear the Magus is that you could use it as a solo or a support as a win more item. So it has some flexibility. So I could use it as a solo, as a magical solo, to mark targets for my mage. Mail of Renewal. Less health all the time, but you get to heal faster. Fair change. Stone of Fall, minus 150. Okay. Persephone. Okay, so she essentially had two passives. Her first passive was she kept hiding when she died, but did 40% damage, but 100% CC. And her seeds would give her money upon going back to base. Now, when Persephone dies, she travels to the Plane of Death, where she can place 6 harvest seeds that will sprout when she respawns. Each time a harvest plant withers, she gains a seed. Extra pomegranate seeds are sold at the fountain for 3 gold per seed and can hold 100 seeds. Major changes: no longer revives, where she can deal damage or apply CC. I think they should have just... I don't know. On paper, and I know this would be hard to program, they should have just left her have less CC, and I think that I would have just taken out this farming bonus here. I would have gotten rid of that. But from a programming standpoint, I get it. It's probably difficult. Hi-Rez is running this game off of fucking Unreal Engine 3, which is like a decade old at this point, and it's falling apart at the seams. This game is not programmed well. Bone Rush calls forth the skeletal warrior from the underworld, charges forward, damaging minions, stops on enemy gods. Enemy gods hit are slowed for a long time. The skull falls, becoming a harvest skull. Does damage, range 65, and that's down from 80. I really like that topple AoE. I really thought that was a cool mechanic for it. Their range was too long. I would have probably have made it like a 45 dash, 25 topple, and kept it. But 10 seconds is also a very short cooldown on this ability. I don't know. Harvest. Now she gets an explosion immediately that does a lot of damage. Activate skulls with her basic, and she restores health. I have not seen how big this AoE circle is, and I think that determines a lot. Enemies recently take reduced damage, same as before. They charge forward in the direction hit, biting any target that gets close. So the question is going to be, how good is that? How good is it at targeting and all that? I don't know. I don't really feel like I like this change. I feel like it's really weird to call an explosion harvest. I don't know. I just don't think that feels very good. So, I don't know. I don't really like that. But, I don't know. I think Pon had said, I posed the question, what really does she do that other mages can't? Why would you pick her? I mean, he basically said that she has some of the best zone control in Smite, which I think is a load of shit based off of this. I don't think she has the same Zapwa. She does not have the same aerial denial as other gods. And this feels like it's still going to be very fiddly and very hard to make optimal use out of. I don't know. I don't like this. We'll see. I think, but the thing is with this, you have a very basic god kit again. And I think that's what they did. They stripped out a lot of the interesting things in her kit to make her fit more in line. And I don't think she really has a unique mechanical identity anymore. You know, is this better than Opwash's zombies? She's more mobile, but everyone's more mobile than Opwash. So what? Flourish. It now does damage. It didn't used to do damage. It's a short jump where harvest plants inside the area and charge. So it seems like the combo is going to be harvest, step up, flourish backwards. That seems like the combo. You know, whether or not how good that is, it's probably going to be very good. I just don't know if it's going to be interesting anymore. Grasp of Death. Really, it's the same ability. I think it's doing a little more magical power scaling than before, but not by much. and they are slowing you within it. So it's not going to be as strong of a CC for the team. It's still going to cage someone in. I don't think this is a big deal. This is a good change to the ult to make it less frustrating to deal with. But this sounds like they have to admit that they kind of screwed up her design. It's a little bit overcomplicated. I want to say, but don't quote me on it, I think this is a Pom-Pom design because he tends to lean towards these very complex, interesting, but mechanically demanding characters. Horus and Set were his. I think Persephone was. So, I don't know. Gilgamesh gets more nerves. 5 less damage per rank on the Sunforged Scimitar. Adjust the stun duration to 1.2 seconds. This can't be all he gets before he goes live. That's all I'll say. This cannot be it before he goes to ranked. Otherwise, he is going to be top pick, top ban. Tiamet. Only gets 4 Basilisks to deploy rather than 6. So, I don't know. They're nerfing them substantially to make them a fringe and situational option. Then she's never going to use them. Like, if you can't use it to split push, then they're never going to be picked. And then she kind of doesn't have much of an ult. I don't know. It's a hard spot, I get it. But I think by nerfing it this hard when it's so clearly her best option really takes away a lot of her potential. Bakusura decrease the mana cost on each minion, and it restores mana upon eating a minion. Butcher Blades, so that's his stint, is now up every 2 seconds more frequently. I don't think this pushes Bakusura into the meta. Maybe it does with the help of the upgraded shell nerf. I think at least at high ranks, he's still going to be pretty fringy, but, you know, in your games, if you're thinking, oh, Bakusura is really strong, he was always strong, and he's going to be stronger. I don't know if it changes much. Bludgeon. Yeah, Balone has kind of been out of the meta. Eagle Rally doesn't really change anything, because you still use it to get away way too often. Spin damage, upgraded by 15 per rank. That's actually pretty devastating. That's actually really good for her early clear. To get an extra 15 off of her 2. She still is going to be weak against characters that can either A, still clear faster, which I think is going to be a smaller list, or B, interrupt her bludgeon. That's a bigger list, and that's where I think she really still got to be careful. So, better. I think she's going to be moving into that middle of the pack. Gods like Guan Yu, I think, are still better with those, even with those nerfs they've been taking. Giddy Up. Hieron's now knocked immune while galloping. He is now starting to perform quite well, although player perception clearly isn't sold on this yet. He's not good. No, sorry. Daji's been trash. Increase the damage on 1,000 cuts. That is her multiple swipes. That is 4 swipes. So it's 20 damage at each rank. That's actually pretty substantial early on. Trickster Spirit, increase the base damage. This is meaningless. They should have reduced the cooldown a little bit. That's where I would have done. Or increase the range she could fire it at. Either way, she needed buffs. They identified it. They didn't give her too much. Okay. Curse Strength is now going to go from 15 down to 13 seconds of cooldown and 3 seconds off his lead. Holy shit, that's a lot. I would say 18 seconds is quite a long cooldown, though, even for a Guardian. That is not short at all. 15 seconds feels more reasonable, so okay. That's alright, and he kind of gets to use it twice because it's also going to apply to his dragon form. So, okay. Fafnir, to get a lot of value out of him, you have really need to land consistent cursed strengths. And I think that's really his weakness. Where if you can't land this consistently, you're not good, and the pros were always able to do so. So my guess is that Fafnir is going to be back at the pro meta. People are still going to be very bad with him. Hera gets 5% more power on Polymorph. Okay. And she's going to get more shields earlier on Divine Shroud. A little bit more every time, but especially early. Okay, not bad. Cuckoo Khan is going to get more maneuverability with Slipstream. Alright. Lacerate on Medusa. A healing debuff from 3 to 4. Cooldown is the important one, down to 13. The thing is with Medusa Lacerate, they don't really need the healing debuff. What they should do is they should give her a smaller debuff, like a 20% debuff on healing off her 1. They should put that as part of her steroid. That's what I would do. 20% up to 2 stacks. Combines with everything else. It combines with Toxic Blades. You get 40% off of her shots. That's how I would do it. Mulan is going to get 2 more seconds on the attack speed buff on Cross Strike. And 2 more seconds on the prot, and more stun on the grapple. That's going to be obnoxious. I thought Mulan was fine. I don't know if I agree with that, but I thought Mulan was in a good spot before, and now they're buffing her again. It's because she's really never been a prominent pick in the SPL or at high levels of play, so of course they're going to give you that. I just want to end this with, they are selling you more shit. They have, like, this new Monster Cat Battle Pass. They're now doing more shit with Avatar: The Last Airbender, so this is probably going to cost you $25 on its own. If this costs anything less than 1,000 gems, I'll be fairly surprised. More chests, or whatever the hell this Talons of Tyranny is. I really don't know what it is, and I don't care. Athena base visual. Let me see if this will give me it. Ow. Nope. Okay. Athena looks fine. This is not really a helmet you would have seen in ancient Greece. Whatever. The problem is she's still worth fucking heals. And I've made this point a bunch. In mythology, like, Aphrodite couldn't outfight skilled mortal warriors when she took on a human form. And became, to intervene, like, if you ever, like, go through the Iliad. Aphrodite is not a fighter. I get that. So, she, like, someone like her, she can dress however she wants. Athena is the goddess of cunning, battle strategy, honorable warfare, and tactics. And she's wearing heels. There's a reason no military ever has issued heals to soldiers for combat. I'll leave you with that. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, go ahead and do so. It is super appreciated. I do still stream on Twitch. Check that out at twitch.tv/DanGodOfThunder. All the links will be in the box below. Thank you. Catch y'all around.